Hi, I'm Meredith. I am in Georgia and I just passed my Georgia Theory for Master Cosmetology exam. So if you want to learn about hair, makeup, cosmetology, all the cool things about beauty, please follow and stick around. So let's get into it. So for the Georgia portion of the Master Cosmetology exam, there's two sections. There's the theory and then there is the practical. So I'm going to talk about the theory in this video. I will be filming a full practical video, so please look for that, as well as links to everything. I mean, I had to figure all these things out just by piecing different things together, just because things can change year after year. So depending on who you know has gone recently or years ago, things tend to change. So just giving you some helpful tips and tricks with that. So with the theory, I studied the Milady book. Now I know that look at that. It's bigger than War and Peace. It's no joke. This could be used as a weapon, I'm pretty sure. So this is my Milady book, and it is everything that is covered in the cosmetology course for theory and practical. And I also invested in the Milady exam review book. As you can tell, like, my seams have come undone, so I just paper clipped it back together and bookmarked it. And I really like this because it has the practice tests in the back. So I found this to be super helpful. So I had my own little scoring system on how I did things. So I found this to be a good investment. So I will be selling both of these, so stay tuned for that. So for the theory, I'm in Georgia, so I'm not sure if all of the theory exams are the same nationwide, but I'm not allowed to tell you by law what the questions are. So I will be happy to just share my experience on the theory exam, so then that way you'll know what to expect when you go in. So I made my appointment several weeks in advance because that's what was available. And then I looked back at the website and I was like, I wonder if they have another date that's sooner. And they did. And I think it's because other candidates switch around dates, and then those other dates are open now. So if you find a date, go ahead and book it, but then you can reschedule it. So do that if you want to take it sooner. So I wanted to go ahead and take it sooner. So I was like, what the heck? Let me just get this over with. Let me do it. And I'm so glad I did. So as far as the test center goes, you cannot bring in a cell phone. No cell phones, no Apple Watches, no technology whatsoever. They're so cute. They're like no pagers. I'm like, do you people have pagers? Really? Okay. So the main things is just 2 forms of ID, and they cannot be copies. You cannot have a copy of your birth certificate. You cannot have a copy of your social security card. It's a driver's license and then a credit card or debit card that's signed. That's all they're looking for is your signature. So 2 forms of something that has your signature on it. So I feel like those are most commonly available. So that's easy to bring with you. And then your car key. No purse, no drinks, no food. I mean, who wants to eat? I wanted to vomit. Seriously. So they do give you this square red bag that's locked, so you cannot get in it. You can put it on the back of your chair. My guess is for, like, I don't know, if you came in with a medication. I don't know, I just put my car key in there and my IDs. So anyhow, but no purses, nothing like that. You can go to the restroom before and during the test. So I found that to be good because, I mean, every single second I'm like, oh my God, I gotta go. So, but that does take time away from your test, just so you know. It is 110 questions. 10 of the questions don't count, and you get 90 minutes. So roughly an hour and a half, you know, think of it that way. If you can answer the questions in 45 minutes, 50, 60 minutes, and then you can really study the rest of the test, so that you have a better understanding of all the questions. You can star the questions that you're unsure about. That's what I liked too. That way I didn't get flustered with one question and it just drove me crazy. I could just pass and move on and then come back to it. Now, a lot of other videos that I watched, folks were saying that, you know, some of the questions will help answer you. The other questions, I didn't find that at all, not a single one. So, you know, when you're stuck between, oh gosh, is that spirilla or is that another, you know, infectious disease? You may not be able to answer it from another question, but it may jog your memory. So who knows, maybe it could help you, and I hope it does. So I guess my point of saying that is don't rush through each single question, star it and go back to it, because it could jog your memory. The main things that I noticed that was focused on the most on the test was disinfection. Super, super important. Every side, single way, I mean, backwards, forwards, you must know everything about disinfection. It is so serious. And that is the biggest thing about passing Master's of Cosmetology, is understanding bacteria, infectious disease, the control of infectious disease, and how to handle that. And, you know, as professionals, we're expected to have a clean environment for our clients and a safe environment for our clients. So I feel like as a standard, I do agree with that completely. So I get it. Then communicating for success, there was a few questions on that. A lot of that was common sense. Some of them I was like, wait, hold up. Is this a trick question? Because that's easy. Like, that's real easy. Just answer it. Usually go with your gut. Don't second guess it. However, read each and every single word carefully, because one word can change the whole context of the question. That is something that I noticed that is totally different from this, from the Quizlets. I did Quizlets. Oh my gosh, I took every single Quizlet over and over and over. Even while I was driving, I would take the Quizlets. Traffic lights, while driving, Quizlets. Quiz. I mean, I was determined to memorize every single fact I could. This is a lot of information, you guys. I mean, a lot. It's hard to be, you know, thrown 100 questions at you and then hopefully you retain a large majority of it. So I'm thrilled. I got an A. I was convinced I failed. I'm just not a good test taker, just not. So getting back to the test itself, general anatomy, physiology is on the test. So you need to know the organs, the muscular systems, the nervous system, circulatory, lymphatic, your immune system, your endocrine system, reproductive system, define the tissues, describe cells. Those huge, big. A lot of it is science, skin structure, growth, and nutrition. Definitely the skin structure, everything with skin, from your dermis, your epidermis, the matrix, your hair follicle, the papilla, all of that, all those major basic things, that's on the test. So you do not want to skip over that. Skin disorders and diseases. All that gross stuff is on there. Every single bit of it. Oh yeah, every single bit. What you'll notice in the multiple choices is that none of it is, there's no graphs or anything like that I can remember. Everything is multiple choice, which is great. So if you know 2, 3 of the 4 options, you can easily get through each question, right? So if you can just try to memorize and understand different definitions of the different terms, then you'll be fine. So identifying the disorders and diseases of the skin, the sebaceous, the oil glands, your sweat glands, all those different just skin conditions, can be confusing, from the hands to the toes to the feet. That for me, I was just like, I have pages and pages of notes of just infectious skin diseases. So, I mean, I had to do like fun ways to remember things like fuvosa, which is a yucky, crusty, yellow, crust-like formation of the skin. I was like, it's like a mimosa. It's yellow and kind of murky and gross. So you kind of have to like listen, however you got to learn, just do it. Just do it. Understanding skin cancer. That's very important. Understanding sun, SPF, contact dermatitis. That's important as well. So chapter 8 is super important. And like I said, anatomy is really important too. Infection disease, control principles and practices. Chapter 5, extremely important. I feel like everything was pretty well balanced, but it really pushed more towards anatomy, the infection and skin, as well as scalp care and chemistry, and then the principles of hair design. So, and basics of chemistry. I mean, yeah, I know I'm saying the whole book, but really, these are the foundations and the principles of cosmetology. So I think it's super important. So anyway, nail structure and growth, identify nail anatomy, nail growth. Those are the basics. So, I mean, we are all, part of your practical, hi, there's my hand. You've got to demonstrate, certain things on the hand. So you got to understand why you're doing it. So I get that. Nail disorders and diseases. More fun, yucky stuff. Ooh, yeah. Whew. All the nail diseases and uncommon and common nail disorders. Yep, that's just, yep, that's on there. Properties of the hair and the scalp. So you're learning about the hair structure, chemical composition of the hair, hair growth, hair loss, right? So you're dealing with alopecia, and then you're dealing with alopecia areata, and then all the, overgrowth of hair, right? So, the body is amazing, truly it is. So how to perform a thorough hair and scalp analysis. The disorders are really, the biggest parts is, really understanding the chemical compositions of hair and the properties of hair and the scalp. That is it, like scalp disorders, scalp diseases, scalp, all that. Basics of chemistry, define matter, atoms and hydrogen and how it affects your skin, your hair, your nails. It's amazing that all of that is related to hair, cosmetology, nails, skin, all the things. So that is very important. The basics of electricity. Huh? Come on, go. What? Hello, what? I'm sorry. What'd you say? Yeah, electricity. So, yeah, understanding electrotherapy, identifying electrical equipment, understanding light energy and light therapy. That is super important. Let's say you're an esthetician. Remember, cosmetology focuses on hair cutting, hair styling, esthetician work, nail work, barbering, all of it. The master of cosmetology she's the queen of it all. So you got to know all this stuff. So when it comes to that, you want to make sure that you're not giving a facial to someone who has sensitivity to light. Like, let's say you have seizures or, epilepsy. That could be a medical, contradiction. Contradiction. That's one of the words. Contradiction. I don't know. You'll know. So the main thing is that is super important. So don't overlook that. Hair care, hair design, hair texture, important. Lots of information on the texture of hair and does that hold a curl? Texture of hair when it comes to chemical. That's where I'm getting to. It's coming, chemical. Scalp care, shampooing, conditioning. I think that's pretty basic, I guess. I think it's important to know not to brush the hair if you're doing chemical relaxer. Things like that change the hair. It's incredible because you don't want to damage the hair during a chemical service. So I think this is so fascinating. I really do, because there's a lot of things I was like, oh my God, I had no idea that you shouldn't do this before service, or you should, not do that. So it's important to always look for a stylist that does these things. But if you're a student, if you're going through this, you'll you'll just take it step by step. It took me 3 years to get through this, and it is, I'm so glad it's over. Oh my gosh. Okay. Hair cutting, the tools, body position, your ergonomics of how you cut hair, as to the position of your arms, your elbows, your shoulders as you're, cutting. That's very important. Because as a stylist, that is something that you do all day long, and it causes injury. So your stylists take a beating. I will never take that for granted. So especially, I curl hair, I do a lot of dry styling, and my shoulders are effed up, my wrist, my hand, the whole from here, from right here all the way down, I get dry needling done. That's a little TMI. But anyway, it's a lot of wear and tear on your joints. So it's important to know how to correctly cut hair, style hair, and hold your shears, so that way, you don't danger yourself, and you don't risk your endangering your client. Hairstyling, oh boy, okay. So back in the day, there used to be finger waving, like in the 20s with the woo, and it's like kind of like glued to the head. In Georgia, we don't do that. In other states, they still test that. I don't know why, but they do. We do curling with a curling iron, but not just the regular curling iron, it's the Marcel iron. So, and I'll get into this with the practical, but if you're using a basic curling iron, you better get ready to start using a Marcel. And it is tricky. Like, you have to use a certain amount of fingers with it for you not to drop it or to hit your client in the head with it, or your mannequin. Oh, say hello to my manny queens. There they are. So I took Deborah. She got me through cosmetology and state board exams. And then I never named her. I never named her, but she came from Pivot Point, which I loved her. She had a ton of hair. And then this is Sam. I love my Sam. So she was my backup doll for the cosmetology exam, because I had one in my trunk just in case they didn't like Deborah. I don't know. I just got nervous. I was like, I'll take 2 of everything. Because why not? So, but getting back to Marcel, and the reason why it's called that is because the dude who invented it, his name is Marcel. So I think it's just, if you like that style, there's nothing wrong with that. You can totally use that in day-to-day life in your salon, for sure. Don't tell, you do you. I just don't prefer it just because of my handling and my joints and whatnot. But other stylists love the thing. So it's for sale if you want to buy it. Info will be below. So getting back to what's on the test. Okay, so hairstyling. So we didn't do any pen, the finger waving, but we did do a full, 4 pin curls. But here's the kicker. We don't get electricity during the test. So you got to do this cold. So I'll give you some tips on how to get past that section, or be more successful at it, I should say, in the practical video. So let's see, hair wrapping, blow dry styling, thermal. Okay, so safety and thermal styling, super important. Okay, moving on, braiding, braids, extensions. You will need to know all the different types of braids and the different types of uses for them. Let's see, wigs. That was a good section to have information on, because you need to know your basic wig knowledge, because you need to know what wigs are made of. You need to understand the different fabrics, the different textures of wigs, because not every wig is the same. So there is a world of wigs and hair extensions. Big time. Got to know chemical texture services. Big time. So perms, yeah, we still do perms. People get perms. Listen, dudes are getting perms. It is huge. So if you want to be a male groomer doing perms on guys who are just like, yeah, man, I just woke up, went to the beach. Yeah, okay. You can charge a ton for that. And you should, because you're the perm master. So what is old is new again. It's so crazy how it comes full circle. So chemical, texture services, relaxers. Ooh, you better know your relaxers. Understand what they do to the hair shaft, understand how they break up the sulfur, and it completely blows your mind when you find out when you color your hair, when you do texture services like this, the damage that can be done to your hair. Oh my God, and how vulnerable the hair is when you break these disulfide bonds. I mean, you can geek out a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I was fascinated. I was just thinking, I had no idea all this science was into this. So if you were going to a stylist that constantly turns your hair orange, or, you know, things are not working out, it's time to switch your stylist, because they do not understand chemical texture and chemical reactions and all that stuff. So, or at least, you know, help them along somehow. But not everyone is perfect though too. I will say that sometimes hair changes over time and it will do things that you weren't expecting because of the client. They maybe didn't tell you that they were using box color. But you can tell they were using box color. They just weren't being, you know, forthright in the very beginning. I think that's unfair. That's super unfair. If you're, you know, especially if you don't want to do chemical services on top of a relaxer, things like that. I mean, your hair will melt. It will just melt right off. So again, safety for your clients, very important. Demonstrating the proper technique for curling. Okay, hair coloring. It just keeps on and keeps on and keeps on, just like me in this video, sorry. But hair coloring, you've got to understand and identify the natural tones of everything. You've got to understand the pH scale. What is alkaline? What is acidic? Understanding shampoos that are, you know, that will help balance those things out. Understanding lighteners, toners. You know, I think that there's a lot of challenges in hair color and corrective hair color. But the main thing is truly, truly, truly understanding why people color their hair, and then understanding the science behind it. That is where you're going to totally be, you know, blown away when it comes to coloring and color services. So then moving on to skincare. So that's, you know, chapter 21 is major. You've got to have that. Skincare, hair removal. There's several different methods of hair removal. Sugaring, waxing, threading. Understand all the main thing is, if you can remember all the descriptives of a procedure or a technique, or the description of that term, like one thing, it will help you remember what it is and what it does. So like threading, twisting, right? That's the only hair removal one that twists as it's removed, as far as I know. So everything else is like, you know, it's taken out through waxing. And then there's depilatories, which, you know, it's broken at the surface because it's a chemical. So if you kind of just think of it image-wise, how that's removed. To me, I found skincare to be this part, the esthetician part, so easy. But that's just because I really connect with that. Where others, they connect more so with hair coloring and hair design and hair cutting. So facials, you've got to know and understand everything about the face, everything. About skin analysis, skincare products, light therapy, and understanding the basic facial. So in the practical, where's my stuff? It's in one of these bags. Oh, here it is. So you'll have to do a full facial, including the 4 massage techniques, I mean, from top to bottom, you've got to demonstrate that you can do a facial. So exfoliation, I mean, obviously we couldn't do extractions because there's nothing to extract, but you can make the motions on it. So then that way you can emulate that. So, and again, it's about proper sanitation. It's about, you're not double dipping. You're not risking the integrity of the product, and you're not, you know, risking, you know, your client's health at the same time by putting on things out of sequence, and then using tools and instruments that are not sanitized. So they watch for all of that. I can't wait to get to the practical part because it is just, my God. I didn't think I was going to pass. Really, because I got in my head. I mean, I have worked on celebrities. I have worked on thousands of people. And this exam literally tested my ability to the point I was just like, really? I can't believe this. Meredith, come on, get it together. But yeah, it was intense. I have the most immense respect for anyone who has gone through this process, truly. Kudos to you. Yes. Okay, facial makeup. So, easy. Nail care. So nails, super important. Muy importante. So manicuring, understanding the basics of the manicure. So like I said, in practical, you'll have to do all of that. But on the theory, understanding the different parts of manicuring, pedicuring, waxing, nail tips and wraps, acrylics, monomer liquid, polymer powders, all of the enhancements, and understanding all those techniques. So you really need to know, a lot. Let's see. And then, business skills, I feel like that's common sense. So those are easy questions. Those are the golden rings that you're just going to grab and be like, yeah, I got it. Click. I know that answer. So the other things too is, when you get there, when they say the exam time is that time, that's when the test starts. So you want to be there earlier. Don't be there an hour early. They will not let you in. I think I got in 15 minutes early or 20 minutes early. There were some people that were there 30 minutes early. So I was like, oh, well, okay. So if they're not that busy, they'll let you just take the test. They will take your picture, they'll check your IDs, and then there's 10 practice questions, and they're like weird, it's nothing that's in here. So you'll know those are the practice questions. And all that is so that you can get used to taking the test. So don't feel like, oh my God, I need to know how many stars are in the universe. No, or how many miles are in the state of California. No, they're basic questions so that you can understand how to properly take the test. Because, some folks can't read directions. So, like I said, go through it, star everything, and then those are the main things that you will be asked. There's gonna be some curveball questions that I was like, I am still trying to find it. And I'm sure it's in here. I'm sure it's in here. But really? Okay. You may get 100. Who knows? I got a 90, so I was thrilled. But I'm still wondering. I'm like, what was it? Those scrolling questions. I don't know. But there again, there was a couple that I was just like, man, I couldn't, remember exactly this one term from another one. And I was just like, I'm just going to give it my best guess. And that's just it. If you know 2 out of the 4 options, then give it your best guess. You have the 50-50 chance of getting it right. So take your time, use the time effectively, study in short sessions. That's what I did with the Quizlets. So study 30 to 45 minutes at a time, and you will get it. You just have to be every single day vigilant about it, and don't fall off your track at all like I did. But we had some deaths in the family, and so that's what just got me right off track. So the thing is if that happens, get right back on. Try to get back on. So I gave myself a deadline of finishing everything by the end of the year. Everything. So for the last year, it has been nose to the ground, study, and practice, and just really feeling comfortable with the ins and outs of all of this. So, yeah. And then when you leave out of there, they will hand you the piece of paper, and not everyone got the congratulations or whatnot. So, she was really sweet. She was like, so you can go take your practical now. And I was like, oh, I don't believe you. So I took the paper and I was just like, that says passed. Like, oh my gosh, oh my God. So, so excited. Because yeah, it will truly test you. It's an endurance test, and that's just it. You want to be fully prepared, and if you have to take it again, take it again. You know, I mean, I don't know how many times you could take it. I never asked. So I'm not really sure. So, but in any event, if you focus on those sections I was telling you about, you'll be well prepared. And again, use your best judgment too on the ones that you're not sure about. And good luck. So leave me some comments. Let me know, how your experience is going, where you are in the process. And like I said, I'm gonna link all the things below because I am selling it. And stay tuned for my practical video of what to pack and some tips and tricks of what it's like for the practical portion of the Master Cosmetology exam. Good luck, guys.